kids, I'm Avery, and I'm really glad to meet you. Welcome to my big backyard. Come on in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That was hard. Are you sure we only ran a mile? That felt like a marathon.
I know, dude. I have no idea how we're gonna survive boot camp.
Hi, Trey. Hi, Kobe. Are you okay? You look like you ran a long way. Are you being chased by a bear?
No, Elvis. No bears. Kobe and I are training.
Oh, I know all about training. There's leash training and house training and trick training and potty training. Are you training for those things?
Elvis, you crack me up. No, Trey and I are training for boot camp.
Boot camp? I've never heard of boot camp. It sounds fun. Do you get to chew on boots? 'Cause if so, I'm in. Can I come to boot camp with you?
No, Elvis. Boot camp has nothing to do with chewing on boots. Boot camp is a weekend that you get to prove that you're tough. People in the military go to boot camp to prepare them for the things that they might face while fighting for our country.
Trey and I aren't actually joining the military right now, but there is a group at our school that puts on these weekend boot camps for students who want to see what it's like to go to a real boot camp. It helps us discover if joining the military is something we want to do one day.
At this rate, I think I'm going to stick to being a professional video gamer.
Man up, dude. We haven't even been to boot camp yet. Just wait until we do the mud obstacle course or the push-up challenge. You might change your mind.
Wait, we have to do push-ups?
Oh, hey Trey, hey Kobe. Good to see you guys. You look like you've been working out.
That's because we're training for boot camp.
Oh, boot camp. That's this weekend, right? What sort of things are you hoping to learn at boot camp?
Well, I guess we are wanting to learn how to be tough like soldiers, but I'm afraid it's going to be hard.
Well, nothing about being a soldier is easy. You have to be physically fit and mentally tough. But more than that, you have to be able to listen and obey.
Sergeant Elvis reporting for duty. This is Base Camp Yellow Doghouse, over.
Elvis, what's going on?
Attention, troops. This is Backyard Boot Camp. You are about to be pushed to your limits to find out what you are made of. Are you a sturdy bone or a soggy sock?
Avery, what's up with your dog?
I don't know, Kobe, but sometimes Elvis's imagination runs away with him. Let's play along.
Troops, Commander Avery here is going to lead us in several exercises that will test our stamina, strength, and determination.
I am? Well, I guess I am. Okay. Attention, troops. Like Sergeant Elvis said, this is Backyard Boot Camp. You're going to have to obey what I say to do. Any disobedience or hesitation, and you'll be spending some time in the doghouse. Any questions?
Ooh, she's gonna be tricked.
No questions asked, ma'am.
Good. All right, friends, you can play along too. Is everyone ready?
Yay!
All right, I need to see jumping jacks right now. Go, go, go. All right, now I need to see push-ups on the ground, 10 of them, all the way down. Good job, boys. All right, for your final assignment today, I want you to practice your aim. I want you to take these balls and try to get them into the sandbox across the yard. The first person or dog to get their ball into the sandbox is the champion of Backyard Boot Camp.
I totally got this. Me first. What?
You're up, Trey.
Okay. Aw, man.
It's okay. Elvis, you're our only hope.
You can do it, Elvis.
And now, Sergeant Elvis finds his focus. He takes aim and...
Elvis, freeze.
But Avery, I'm about to...
Elvis, don't move. Trust me and obey. Go on, big fellow. Shoo.
Can I unfreeze now?
Yes, the coast is clear.
Avery, what was that about?
Elvis, you almost got attacked by the most ginormous spider I've ever seen.
Yeah, if you didn't listen to Avery, you would have been a spider snack.
Well, I wouldn't take it quite that far. But I am glad you obeyed, Elvis.
You saved me from a spider, Avery? I was so focused on the game that I didn't even see it.
Well, it's always a good idea to have someone who's got your back.
Got your back?
It's an expression. It means someone who's always looking out for you.
Oh.
Sometimes we can't see the big picture. We don't know what dangers might be coming. And we don't always know what's best for us. But there is someone who does.
God.
Yes, Kobe. The Bible says that we as Christians are like soldiers in the army of God. God is the one in charge. We are expected to honor, respect, and obey him.
I like thinking about being the soldier in God's army. I want to listen and obey whatever he says.
That's awesome. But, obeying God isn't always easy. Sometimes God calls us to do things that are hard. And because we can't see the big picture like God does, some of the things he calls us to do don't always make sense to us.
Like what?
I'll tell you what, why don't we take a snack break and I'll share a story with you guys from the Bible about a man who obeyed God, even though it was difficult.
Snack break? Now that's an order I could obey.
A long time ago, there was a man named Abraham who loved and obeyed God. For many years, Abraham and his wife Sarah could not have children. Finally, when they were old, God blessed them with a son. They named him Isaac, and Abraham loved him very much. One day, God tested Abraham by telling him to take Isaac to the land of Moriah and sacrifice him as a burnt offering on a mountain. This command probably made Abraham very sad, but he knew he needed to obey God. So he got up early in the morning, and with 2 of his attendants and his son Isaac, the group set out on their journey. When they had traveled for 3 days, Abraham saw the mountain in the distance, and he told his attendants to stay with the donkey while he and Isaac went up the mountain to worship God. As Abraham and Isaac walked, Isaac asked, "Father, we have the wood and the fire for the sacrifice, but where's the lamb for the burnt offering?" Abraham told his son that God himself would provide a lamb. Abraham likely didn't understand why God was telling him to do these things, but he knew he needed to obey. So when they made it up the mountain, Abraham built an altar, tied up his son Isaac, and laid him on top of the wood. Just when he was about to sacrifice his son, the angel of the Lord called to him from heaven. The angel told him not to harm the boy. God had been testing Abraham to see if he would obey by not withholding his son whom he loved. Abraham kept his faith and respect for God and was willing to obey no matter what. Soon after, he looked up and saw a ram caught in the bushes by its horns. He took the ram and offered it as a sacrifice to God in place of his son. Abraham was very thankful that God had provided for them.
is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits with scoffers. And his delight is in the law of the Lord. On it he meditates day and night. And his delight is in the law of the Lord. On it he meditates day and night. Day and night. He is like a tree by the river, bearing fruit in its season, and its leaves, they will not wither. Whatever they do, they prosper. And his delight is in the law of the Lord. On it he meditates day and night. And his delight is in the law of the Lord. On it he meditates day and night. Day and night.
Oh, hi, friends. You might be wondering where I am right now. Well, I went to the Gadget Garage to meet Jared for his science experiment, and I couldn't find him or Jargon. But he left me this note that says, "Meet me at the park." So that's where I am right now.
Hey, Avery.
Jared, where are you?
I'm up here.
Jared, what are you doing on top of that ladder?
Today, I want to conduct an experiment on a subject I learned about in school.
What subject was so special that it made you climb to the top of a ladder?
Well, I learned about gravity.
Cool. Tell me what you learned about gravity.
Gravitational force is what pulls everything down to the earth, so we don't all float away. That's why we can throw a ball in the air and know it'll come back down, because gravity pulls it to the earth.
God knew what was necessary for life here on Earth, so he gave us gravity.
Right. So for my experiment, I want to test how fast gravity pulls different objects when I drop them from the top of this ladder. So I have a few different things. Some are super heavy and some are super light. Do you think you could help me, Avery?
Sure.
Okay, so first, I need you to climb to the top of this ladder with this feather.
Oh, okay. Are you sure?
Chicken detected.
Don't mind jargon, you'll be fine.
Okay. Friends, if you are going to do this experiment at home, make sure that you have an adult with you the whole time. Never climb up on a ladder all by yourself. Whoa, I'm up so high.
See, it's not so bad. Now, when I say go, Jargon will start the timer and Avery will drop the feather. Then we can see how long it takes for gravitational force to pull the feather to the ground. Are you ready, Avery?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Good. Are you ready, Jargon?
Ready.
All right. Count down with me. 3, 2, 1, go. Wow. How long was that, Jargon? Jargon?
Approximately enough time to fall asleep.
Very funny, Jargon. Okay, now let's try something heavier. I want to see how long it takes gravitational force to pull a pumpkin to the ground.
Are you sure about that, Jared? It might get a little messy.
Of course, what's science without getting a little messy? All right, is everyone ready?
Yay!
Friends, Which one do you think will fall to the ground faster, the feather or the pumpkin? Let's find out. Avery, I'll do this one.
Okay.
All right, Avery, count us down.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Now, Avery, let's discuss. Why do you think the pumpkin fell faster than the feather?
Well, probably because the pumpkin is heavier than the feather.
That's what most people would think. However, let's try something else. See this penny? It weighs about the same as a feather, but look what happens when I drop it.
Oh, I guess that disproves my hypothesis. The penny fell faster than the feather, even though they're both about the same weight. How does that work?
Gravity seems to pull a pumpkin to the ground a lot faster than a feather. That's what our eyes see, and it seems to make sense because we know that pumpkins are a lot heavier than feathers. But actually, the two objects, and any other two objects, are pulled to the ground by exactly the same amount of force. Something else is in play that changes the speed of the fall. Air is blocking the way.
Right. I have felt this effect before when I ride my bike. I can feel the air as I move through it, pushing back against me. And I can also see the effect it has as it makes Elvis's ears flop in the wind.
Right. When we dropped the feather from the ladder, the air that caught the feather, called air resistance, caused it to fall a lot slower than the pumpkin. I can prove that by using a clipboard to block the air resistance from catching the feather. See what happens when I drop them together. See? Gravity is affecting everything around us.
Whoa. It's neat to think about how gravity affects literally everything around us. Friends, think about it. What are some things that we couldn't do without gravity? Good answers. We couldn't slide down a slide, we couldn't play basketball, and we couldn't drive our cars.
It's true. The law of gravity is one of the scientific laws God put in place to help govern our universe.
A scientific law?
Yes, a scientific law is a description of what always happens under certain conditions. The law of gravity is a law of physical science. Scientific laws can sometimes be full of mathematics, but what we have to know is that math and scientific laws are what allows God's creation to obey Him.
Objects in our universe don't have a choice but to obey the law of gravity. Like this ball. This ball can't decide, hey, I'm not going to obey the law of gravity. No matter what, this ball is always going to be pulled back towards the ground. Friends, can you think of other examples of rules that always have to be obeyed? Good thinking. Now, there are some rules that we are given that we have the choice whether or not to obey. Can you think of an example of that? When your mom gives you the rule to make your bed, you have a choice. You can do the right thing and obey your mom and make your bed, or you can disobey and not make your bed. God has given people free will, which means that He's given us the choice to obey. Friends, why is it so important that we obey God?
John 15:14. You are my friends if you do what I command you.
Exactly. Jesus told His followers that we are His friends if we follow His commandments. When we choose to obey God, we are saying that we trust Him and we believe that He knows what is best for us. And like we see in the Bible time and time again, obeying God always leads to good things, but disobeying Him leads to things that are bad for us.
Like the story of Abraham. When Abraham chose to obey God and was willing to sacrifice his own son Isaac, God blessed Abraham's family, and Abraham and Isaac witnessed God helping them in a very special way.
Yes. So friends, Whenever you see the world around you obeying the law of gravity, you can remember how we can obey God's laws for us.
That is going to be a lot of reminders, Avery, because gravity affects everything.
You can never have too many reminders to obey God's law.
Good point.
Speaking of reminders of the law of gravity, Jared, do you have any plans for this pumpkin? Because if you don't have any plans for it, I might know someone who would like to make a pumpkin pie out of it.
As long as I can have a piece.
Kitchen, here I come. See you next time, friends.
Thanks for the snack, Avery. I feel much better.
Yeah, thanks, Avery. And thanks for that story, too. That was crazy that Abraham had so much faith in God, he was willing to give up his own son.
It is pretty amazing. Abraham understood that God deserves to be obeyed. And Abraham trusted that God had a reason, even if he didn't understand what that was.
Yeah, I'm glad God provided the ram so that Abraham didn't have to sacrifice his son, Isaac.
Me too, Trey. It reminds me of how God provided Jesus so that we didn't have to die for our sins.
Avery? Sorry to interrupt, but can we finish backyard boot camp? I never got to throw my ball.
Sure thing, Elvis.
And now, Sergeant Elvis is ready to become the champion of backyard boot camp. He scans the area for sniper spiders. The coast is clear. Sergeant Elvis takes aim and fires.
Wow!
Elvis, how did you do that?
Training, young one.
Congratulations, Elvis.
I want to try again.
Yeah, me too.
I might have started something here. Friends, I'm so glad that you could join us today at Backyard Boot Camp. Like Kobe said, it's neat to think about how we as Christians are like soldiers in God's army. God expects us to obey Him in every situation. Friends, what are some ways in your life that you can obey God? You can obey Him by reading His Word and following what it says. You can obey Him by loving and serving others. And like Abraham, you can obey Him by being willing to give up what is important to you in order to follow what He wants. Jesus said in John 15:14 that those who obey the commands of God are His friends. I really like the idea of being a friend of God. What about you?
Avery, help us. Elvis keeps on winning.
Okay. Friends, I will see you real soon. Until next time, over and out. All right, who's winning?
Elvis.
Here you go. Oh, hi friends. I was just writing down some important dates on my calendar. There's one important date that I want to make sure that I don't forget. Can you read what this says? Shh, not so loud. I haven't told Elvis yet. He gets pretty nervous about going to the vet. I have a feeling that our next adventure will have a good lesson in store. So come along next time as we learn about how God is everywhere and that we don't have to be afraid of being alone. I want you to join me as we learn from the Bible, do a new science experiment, and yes, maybe take a trip with Elvis to the vet.
Lou, did someone just say the word vet?
See you next time, friends.